This August saw the Klaipėda State Musical Theatre Symphony Orchestra stage a magnificent production of Wagner's groundbreaking opera, The Flying Dutchman, for the first time in Lithuania. The production featured several locally born soloists, including Sandra Janušaitė, leading soprano of the Lithuanian National Opera and Ballet Theatre, and was one of the most celebrated musical events of the year in Lithuania. Fittingly, the production took place in the open air at the historic shipyard complex in Klaipėda, its vast structures and hoists making for a unique and spectacular setting. Wagner's operatic feast was enhanced by the professionalism of the NGR service team, as well as their top-of-the-range Meyer sound equipment.
We selected Meyer Sound Leo family and Ultra series speakers for this offbeat production. The main PA was made up of 3 clusters which had flown 900 LFCs and 9 Leopards each. 6 Ultra X40 and 2 UPJs 1P were used across 2 delay lines. For the soundtracks of special effects, we used UPQs 1P. This complex arrangement was controlled by 2 Galaxy 816 sound processors. Finally, for the monitoring of the orchestra, solids and actors, we used 6 UPA 1P, 6 UM 100P, and exclusively for the conductor, the irreplaceable UPM 1P. As for why Meyer Sound, that's easy to answer. The proposed setting of the opera was at the historic cruise ship terminal by the sea, in a windy open area, and the task was to make the orchestra and the solists sound as natural as possible, as it would be in an acoustic concert hall. No other system would be able to achieve this with such a precision. Even during the rehearsals, when the wind was extra powerful, there was no interference with excellent sound distribution throughout the whole territory. Our system, designed with MapXT software, allowed us to achieve what we consider the truly excellent result. On the top of the challenges provided by unique location, the performance also included a range of natural special effects, including falling water and the arrival of a real ship, while the huge stage space, with lots of action taking place in different areas, also presented issues. These were overcome by Meyer Sound self-powered systems with a weather protection option, enabling us to fully realize the concepts of the production director. Meanwhile, the dimensions of the system we assembled were a crucial factor in minimizing visual pollution on the opera stage itself.
In terms of sound, the NGR team faced an extraordinary challenge, primarily because of the seaside location and the need to cope with very changeable weather conditions, including rain and intense winds, sometimes reaching more than 20 kilometers an hour. On location, the sound engineers repeatedly analysed and evaluated wind speeds and the rigging of the systems at various positions, taking into account the seating positions of the spectators, which were constantly changing due to the pandemic. One day we had one ground floor layout, the next day another. So I was very impressed with the team's professionalism throughout, and their efforts to ensure we could transmit every sound to each spectator in the audience. Another complexity of the sound was that the stage was over 50 meters wide, a big challenge not only for the performers, but also the sound engineer team. When performers are separated by a distance of more than 40 meters, the monitoring systems, visibility, and relationship with the conductor all have to be flawless, not to mention the main PA and the delay systems. I didn't hear a single artist say that they felt uncomfortable singing, which is a major credit to the team's abilities. The installation of the sound systems was really complicated, requiring the technicians to rig the system on a shipyard construction that was designed and built more than 100 years ago. 3 clusters of the main PA and the delay lines were installed very precisely. This was probably the first opera in Lithuania where there was no criticism from musicologists, critics, or sound professionals, certainly that I'm aware of. The panning of the soloists in particular was very accurate, so that the viewer's attention moved not so much with the lighting or action, but more with where the sound was coming from. Technologically speaking, The Flying Dutchman was one of the most challenging projects I've worked on, but I can safely say that it was realized with a complete professionalism. The NGR and Meyer sound teams made themselves available from the moment we started thinking about staging the opera, and the result, I think, was flawless sound that was integral to the event's success. To give you an idea of the scale of work needed, 70 radio systems were used to microphone the opera performers and a 50-piece orchestra, with omnidirectional headsets lavaliers, and more. The choreography of the opera was constructed in such a way that there were a number of soloists and choir parts performed outside the stage in front of the PA. Meyer sound accomplished this with ease and without the need to change the frequency characteristics of the soloists and choristers' microphones. The Flying Dutchman is a classic and beloved opera, based on an ancient legend of a lonely sailor doomed to sail the seas for eternity with a ghostly crew of dead men, unless he can be redeemed by love. Inspired by a turbulent sea voyage taken by Wagner himself, new life was breathed into the opera by this unconventional and exciting production, with Meyer sound proving an essential part of its success.